Welcome everybody to the October 4th, 2021 regular meeting of the Hillsborough City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation is encouraged. To minimize feedback in the audio, all participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should raise their hand or mute themselves and turn on their camera to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I'll ask Commissioner Bernstein to lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today, we focus on our objectives as planning commissioners to fulfill our mission, to promote, coordinate, collaborate, and facilitate with all people in creating and implementing the long-range planning and vision for our entire community, to improve economic development, quality of life, and provide value-added services. Help us to make decisions that fulfill that mission. Bless us as we meet together today. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. All right. We have next is roll call. Ask the clerk to please go ahead and call roll.
Good afternoon. Bernstein?
Here.
Thank you. Cardenas? Commissioner Cardenas? Dickerson?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Matthew Pleasant sitting in for Amber Dickerson.
Thank you. Dick?
Here.
Handy?
Here.
Kress? Commissioner Kress? Blinkus?
Here.
Maurino?
Here.
Powell?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Chair Joseph?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, the next item up is the approval of minutes for the following meetings. Public hearing on Hillsborough County Plan Amendments from February 1st, 2021. Regular meeting, August 24th. Public hearing, City of Plant City, August 24th. Public hearing, City of Tampa, August 24th. Public hearing, City of Temple Terrace, August 24th. And public hearings on Hillsborough County Plan Amendments, also August 24th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All right, I have a motion of approval by Commissioner Maurino, a second by Commissioner, I forgot your last name. I just went blank. What's your last name? Powell? Commissioner Powell, second by Commissioner Powell. Wow, I just blanked on you. Sorry, sir. Motion approved by Commissioner Maurino, a second to that motion by Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on that item? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to do a roll call vote.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Pleasant?
Yes.
Diggs?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Kress, Linkus,
Yes.
Maurino,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Chair Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0. I did not intend to call Commissioner Dickerson. I apologize for that.
All right, thank you. All right. Next item up, we are not doing the swearing in, that's correct? All right. Okay, so moving past that, we are on to public input. Were there anyone from the public to sign up for items not for action tonight?
No, we had no public comment.
All righty. Okay, moving on to our next item on the agenda. Item number 3 is action items, and our first action item will be...
Commissioner, we do need to collect the statement of interest
yeah.
forms
Oh, yeah.
for your election of officers next month.
Thank you. I'll swing that over to Tracy Robin for that collection of statement of interest forms.
Hi, good afternoon. Each year during the October meeting, we collect a statement of interest form from each of the commissioners to indicate what offices they might be interested in, as well as what committees the agency may have for you to serve on. It assists us with the elections in November so that we know which of you would like to run for which offices for purposes of nominations, and those who submit will automatically be included in the nominations for that particular office. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I am not seeing any.
I would just add that we can take nominations from the floor at the next meeting as well, if somebody
Yes.
isn't here, for example, that sort of thing. But they also can email the interest form. I can collect them now, or if you want to email it into Sharon or myself, we'll send out the results of who was interested in the next day or so.
All right. Well, I have mine if you want to come and get it. I don't get it off my list of things to do. But yeah, I guess we can.
Else have an interest form?
You didn't get one?
Well, that one.
Put them in the packet.
Do you have one printed? I'll fill it out.
I don't, let me see if Sharon can bring one down. Yeah. Anyone else like one printed and brought down?
I was just going to say, assuming that we submitted them electronically, I assume there's no need to do anything further.
All right. So we will move on then to our next item of business, which will be 3A, action items, and that is Plant City, 4-year 22 through 4-year 26, capital improvements element, CIE, schedule of projects update, and the presenter will be Diego Guerra.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Diego Guerra, Planning Commission staff. This item is the Planning Commission's review of the Plant City's capital improvement element schedule of projects update. This is an action item and a resolution is provided for your vote. Chapter 163 requires that the schedule of projects, which is a list of projects that address levels of service and adopted in the comprehensive plan, be updated on an annual basis. The update would replace the existing schedule adopted in the comprehensive plan with the schedule listed in your packet. City staff identified projects in the CIP that affect levels of service, and it is these projects that make up the schedule of projects. The update is accomplished by ordinance, which is permitted under Chapter 163. Additionally, the plans of other agencies are adopted by reference into the schedule through an existing policy in the capital improvement element. There are 4 main categories included in the schedule. They are streets, utilities, maintenance and operations, stormwater, and parks and recreation. The total 5-year funding amount of these projects is approximately $35.95 million. Ladies and gentlemen, Planning Commission staff also examined the schedule with respect to the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan. A few of the policies are outlined on the slide, however, a full list of policies are found in the staff report. The schedule is consistent with Capital Improvements Policy 1.1.14, which states that the top priority for funding is to repairs or replacements of obsolete or worn out facilities. All of the projects do meet the description, and the schedule is consistent with the policies requiring coordination with the 10-year water supply facilities work plan as well. And the intent of infrastructure sub-elements, which include language that states provide quality infrastructure and services to Plant City residents. Ladies and gentlemen, Planning Commission staff recommends that the FY22 through FY26 scheduled projects update be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Plant City Comprehensive Plan, and that this recommendation be forwarded to the City Commission for your approval, or their approval. I'm available for any questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Was there anyone sign up for public comment on this one?
No, sir.
No. All righty. Then we will open it up to the Planning Commissions for discussion and comment on this item. Commissioner Dix?
Just a motion when you're ready, Mr.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Handy, did you have any comments? No? All right. Not seeing any comments, then I'll open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Dix?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move that we find the recommendation by staff on the Plant City's project schedule of projects to be found consistent with the future planning amendment.
Second.
All right, I have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Dix, a second to that motion by Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none at this time, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas? Dix?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Kress? Blinkus?
Yes.
Maurino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Chair Joseph?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right, on to our next item up. It is 3B, Land Development Code Amendment, Temple Terrace, TTTXT 21-01, Floodplains Regulations, and the presenter will be Mark Hudson.
Mark Hudson, Planning Commission staff. Can you hear me, Commissioner?
Yes.
Great. I'm here on behalf of the City of Temple Terrace this afternoon to bring to you a code change to their land development code, Temple Terrace TTTXT 21-01, and as you already noted in the title, it's related to their floodplain ordinance and regulations. It's been several years since Temple Terrace has brought a code change to us, so we wanted to be sure that we properly reviewed this and made an appropriate recommendation to the Planning Commission. We did review this not only by our comprehensive plan policy review team, but also had our strategic planning, environmental, and research team take a look at it as well. Both those staffs felt that it was consistent with the Imagine 2040 Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan, and in particular the goals, objectives, and policies that we noted in the resolution, those particularly dealing with stormwater management and environmental protection. With that, I'll hand over the presentation to Celeste Lau. She's a planner with the City of Temple Terrace to describe exactly what the code change entails. I will know she does not have a camera on her computer, so it's not been a technical difficulty when you don't see her, but hopefully we'll be able to hear her loud and clear. So with that, I'll hand it off to Celeste.
My name is Celeste, and I am a planner with the City of Temple Terrace. Also from the city is the city engineer, Brian McCarthy. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation, but I will briefly summarize the request of these text amendments. The City of Temple Terrace is requesting these text amendments for two reasons. One is to be in line with FEMA policy 104-008-03, which includes floodplain management requirements for agricultural and accessory structures. The second reason is that Temple Terrace participates in a voluntary incentive program from the National Flood Insurance Program called the Community Rating System, or CRS. To maintain a CRS rating of 8 or better, the city needs to modify the existing requirements for manufactured homes in special flood hazard areas. With these amendments, the city is hoping to better protect property owners and occupants of manufactured homes and to continue participating in the CRS program at the city's current class rating. This concludes my summarization of this request. City staff are here to answer any questions the board may have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Was there anyone from the public sign up to give comment on this item? Nope. All right. Then I will open it up to commissioners on this item. Is there any discussion or comments from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any or any hands up online. I will go on ahead and close public comment and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Maurino.
Thank you. I move that we find Temple Terrace Land Development Code Text Amendment TXT 2101 consistent with the Imagine 2040 Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan and forward it for the consideration of Temple Terrace City Council.
All right, that's a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Maurino. Commissioner Bernstein?
I'll second that motion.
And a second to that motion by Commissioner Bernstein. Is there any more discussion from the planning commissioners on this item? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas? Dix?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Crest? Blinkus?
Yes.
Maurino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Chair Joseph?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. All right, on to our next item, 3C, Land Development Code Amendments, Round 2. Are these all being presented by Ms. Massey, or?
Yes, I think you'll take up each one and then take a vote on each one individually.
All right. Then we'll start with the first one, LDC 21-1044, Alcoholic Beverage Package Sales by Restaurants. And the presenter is Jillian Massey.
Hi, good afternoon. Jillian Massey, Planning Commission staff. I'd like to at this time present Mr. Tom Hisney from Hillsborough County Development Services Department. He'll be making the presentation on the land development code items, and then as Ms. Zorgita said, at the conclusion of the presentation of each item, I will present staff's consistency and finding recommendation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Hisney, Development Services. We have 5 code amendments before you today. As you can see on your screen, this is the second to last hearing that is associated with this round of amendments. You'll be finding whether each amendment is consistent with the comprehensive plan. Final hearing is going to be in front of the Board of County Commissioners on October 21st. That is their second public hearing, and they at that time can choose to approve the amendments if they so wish. I'll go through the amendments one at a time and then pause after each amendment for any questions or comments, and then also for your consistency finding. So the first amendment then we'll discuss today is 21-1044. As previously discussed with this board, this amendment is to reflect a change in state law regarding the permissibility of package sales by certain eating establishments. These are restaurants with, I believe, 2,500 square feet of floor space or larger. That will amend the categories of our wet zonings that we have in the code for those categories that prohibit package sales, typically those are the ones that end in an X. This amendment will add language to note that, consistent with state law, that package sales are permissible despite the general prohibition of package sales for those restaurants that qualify for this and in accordance with the terms for those deliveries found in the state law. There is no change from the text that you saw before on this amendment. I'm available for any questions you might have.
All right, thank you. Was there anyone sign up for this item? Nope. All right, then we will open it up to the commissioners for comments on this item, 21-1044. Seeing no lights or any hands on the WebEx, I will close public comment and open it up to motions on this item from the commissioners. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion that we find Land Development Code Text Amendment 21-1044 consistent with the future of Hillsborough comprehensive plan for this recommendation to Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
All right, that's a motion for consistency finding by Commissioner Powell, second to that motion by Commissioner Maurino. Is there any more discussion on this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas? Diggs?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Kress? Linkus?
Yes.
Maurino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Chair Joseph?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
All right, that'll take us into our second amendment.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yep. This one is LDC 21-1045. This deals with garbage and recycling infrastructure requirements for new construction of commercial and multifamily development. Require those developments to provide adequate space for garbage and recycling dumpsters. Those areas have to be enclosed to try to prevent scenes like you see in the photograph on the slide. This amendment will ensure compliance with Florida statutes and also further the county's sustainable materials and management goals, and will reduce litter and improve community appearance. Israel Monsanto is available for any questions you might have.
All right, thank you. And I'm presuming we have also no comment on this one. All right, then we will kick it over to the commissioners for comments or questions on this item. Commissioner Powell, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a quick question. I'm not sure which staff person's best to ask this to, but when, let's say like a condominium community goes and they, like redo their parking lot and have to repave and restripe and everything, would they then have to comply with this new requirement? Say I know there's a lot of older communities built, in the 80s that maybe not don't have like specific recycling, sections in their community. So would they have to then, make the necessary changes to provide, for those spaces?
Hi, Commissioner. This is Israel Monsanto, Development Services. This text amendment would apply for new development, commercial or multifamily. So when you have a new project coming in that will develop for those type of projects, these new regulations would apply. So if it is just a renovation or restriping or repaving, that's not a new development.
Okay, so they're now going to have to come up to the new county code then?
Right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Were there any more questions or comments, discussion from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none in the room and no hands, I'll go ahead and close public comment and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find LDC Text Amendment 21-1045 consistent with the future Hillsborough comprehensive plan, and that we refer it over to the county commission for their consideration.
All right, that's a motion of consistency.
Second.
Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Cardenas, Dix,
Yes.
Handy,
Yes.
Kress, Linkus,
Yes.
Maurino,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Chair Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
All right, on to 20 LDC 21-1046, establishment of a time frame limit for reopened or remanded public hearing applications. To you, Mr. Hisney.
Yes, so this amendment will apply the same hearing time frame that applies to applications for when they first, for their original hearing date, which is that it must go to hearing no more than 6 months after the original scheduled hearing date. It will then, this amendment will apply that same kind of time frame to hearings that are remanded or continued to a later public hearing date. Israel Monsanto is available for any questions.
Thank you. Again, no public comment sign up on this one. We will send it over in that case to the commissioners for questions, comments, and discussion on this item. Not seeing any lights in the room or hands on the WebEx. I'll go ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Maurino.
Thank you. I move that we find the proposed land development code text amendment language proposing to add a 6-month time frame limit for an application to be heard at a public hearing after it has been reopened or remanded for a further public hearing consistent with the future Hillsborough comprehensive plan, and forward this recommendation to the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners.
All right, that's a consistency motion by Commissioner Maurino. Is there a second to that motion? Commissioner
second.
Linkus? That is a second to Commissioner Marino's consistency finding by Commissioner Linkus. We'll get my mouth together here. Is there any more discussion on this item from the commissioners' comments? Not seeing any, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Cardenas, Dix,
Yes.
Handy,
Yes.
Kress, Linkus,
Yes.
Maurino,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Chair Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Thank you. All right, on to LDC 21-1047, review criteria for transportation items during planned development rezoning applications. Back to you again, Mr. Hisney.
Yes, this amendment will clarify certain portions of the LOC are applicable to PD zone properties. Will require applications show sufficient detail on the PD site plan to ensure certain transportation related standards can be met. And it clarifies the current practice that where the LDC specifies a specific relief process of a given environment, a requirement, that process must be followed and during the course of the PD rezoning. We have Mike Williams is available for questions.
Thank you, sir. All right. Someone sign up from the public on this one? No head shake. We will send it over to the commissioners for discussion, questions, or comments on this item. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've touched on this before. Right now, I don't think that there's a requirement where an applicant has to provide what the current traffic counts, are for a development, and then what they're going to go to, once the development is built. Correct?
Those are covered in the DRPM, Development Review Procedures Manual. And we're actually working on some amendments to the DRPM as well, right? Concurrent to this.
And Mike, will those, does the DRPM today require current and what future traffic counts for after the project?
It does. It does, Melissa. Yes, sorry. I didn't answer that before, but yes. We're updating kind of how we, just some details of that, but, you know, a lot of the sites we have are greenfields, so the traffic, the existing traffic would be nothing, but we would, based on ITE, trip generation manual, we would, you know, if it's a comp plan amendment or even a zoning change, we would require to know what the site could have generated based on IT versus what it could generate with the new zoning or the new comp plan category.
And is that information going to, you know, is that something that's going to be required that the applicant, you know, provide so that the public, you know, knows of that ahead of time?
Yes, yeah, it's already required, but yes.
Okay, because I've seen things come before this board before where, you know, it's not really, you know, made known, just potentials, but not actuality. So, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Powell. Is there any more comments or discussion, questions on this item from the commissioners? Let me check on the WebEx. I am not seeing hands on the WebEx. So with that, I will go ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Maurino.
Thank you. I move that we find the proposed Land Development Code text amendment language proposing to clarify the review process for certain regulations for connectivity, cross-access, access points, and other transportation-related review criteria as part of the planned development rezoning process consistent with the future Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan, and forward this recommendation to Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners.
All right, that's a consistency motion by Commissioner Maurino. Is there a second? Commissioner Bernstein?
Yes, I'll second that motion.
All right, a consistency motion by Commissioner Maurino, a second by Commissioner Bernstein. Is there any more comments or discussion on this? Is that a comment, Commissioner Dix? Nope. All right, then I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas? Dix?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Kress? Linkus?
Yes.
Maurino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Chair Joseph?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
All right, on to our last one here, LDC 21-1156, changes to the zoning review and approval for home-based businesses. Back to you again, Mr. Hisnay.
Yeah, this amendment is driven by a change in state law of preemptive regulations for home-based businesses that went into effect July 1st. So these proposed regulations will completely replace the current regulations found in the code in 61148 for home-based businesses, as well as it will replace the regulations found in 61149 for home swimming instructions. Those will be eliminated. So in both cases, current language for 61148 and 49, it will be stricken and replaced in 61148 with this new language. These changes will include, but are not limited to, the elimination of the need for approval of a conditional use zoning permit for a home-based business. It will broadly expand the types of businesses that may operate from residential homes, and it will allow for non-resident employees in residential zoning districts, which is currently prohibited by our regulation. I'm available for any questions you might have.
Thank you, sir. All right, no one signed up for public comment on this item, so we will go ahead and open it up to the commissioners for comments or discussion, questions on this item. Not seeing any in the room or any on the WebEx. I will close public comment and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find LDC Text Amendment 21-1156 pertaining to changes to zoning review and approval for home-based businesses consistent with the future Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan, and that we pass it along to the County Commission for approval or consideration.
All right, we have a motion. Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Dix. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any in the room or online, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Cardenas, Dix,
Yes.
Handy,
Yes.
Kress, Linkus,
Yes.
Maurino,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Chair Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you to staff, the agencies for your help, information on those. And we will move right into our next item, number 4, briefings and presentations. And the first briefing we have is TACPA 21-19 Comprehensive Plan Amendment, 720 West Columbus Drive, and it is Jennifer Malone presenting.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jennifer Malone here. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. And there's a PowerPoint presentation on it.
Yes.
Great. So this is, again, 720 West Columbus Drive, Tampa Comprehensive Plan Amendment 21-19. It's located in the Central Tampa Planning District and the Ridgewood Park neighborhood. Here's an aerial of the subject site. It's outlined in the black and it's slightly shaded. So it's on the south side of West Columbus Drive, just west of the intersection of West Columbus Drive and North Boulevard. To the north is a gas station. To the east is a vacant building. Further east is another, this is a brewery and another gas station to the north of that, and then a commercial shopping center. To the south of the subject site is single-family detached residential. This is a privately initiated amendment. It is small scale at only 0.36 acres, and the request would be from residential 10 to residential 20. This is the adopted future land use map. The subject site here is outlined in black as residential 10. To the east is community mixed use 35. That's the pink color. It's also present in the north, but allows for those commercial uses. Further south and west of the subject site is residential 10. Further west is recreational open space. That's actually Phillips Park. It was one of the parks that we designated recreational open space through the Parks project. There's also residential 35 to the south and residential 20 to the north. The public, semi-public to the northeast represents the Villa Madonna School. And this is the proposed future land use map showing the property at residential 20. This would increase the potential of dwelling units from about 3 to 7, and it would increase the amount of non-residential square footage allowed from about 5,488 square feet to 7,840 square feet. So overall, it would allow for additional dwelling units on the site and the greater intensity of non-residential uses. The locational criteria for the proposed residential 20 would allow consideration of non-residential uses. That locational criteria would get broader through that increase of the future land use designation. So I am available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any lights in the room or hands up on the WebEx. We will thank you for the presentation and move right on to our next item. TACPA 21-20 Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Tampa Park Apartments property. The presenter is David Hay. Maybe not.
David, Danny, I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, the presenter is Danny Collins.
Danny, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon. This is Danny Collins with the Planning Commission staff. I will be presenting on behalf of David Hay, who's currently out of the office today. This is Tampa Comprehensive Plan Amendment, TACPA 2120 for the property, the Tampa Park. The subject site is located in the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the historic Ybor neighborhood, and it's located here on our locational map. Here is an aerial of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see the subject site is aligned in this red color. It's just within the boundaries of the local the Ybor Historic Local District, which is outlined in this yellow color. It's just to the east of Scott Street and just to the west of Nuccio Parkway. Subject site is approximately 1 block to the east of the Encore Apartments, which is located here on the aerial map. And then there are some non-residential uses to the east of the subject site. And then Booker T. Washington Elementary is directly to the west of the subject site. Just a quick background of the request. This is a privately initiated amendment. It's small scale in size. The subject site's approximately 5.19 acres. The request is to change the future land use from the CMU 35 designation to the urban mixed use 60. Here's the adopted future land use map. Again, the subject site's currently recognized under that CMU 35 future land use designation. It's surrounded by the CMU 35 on all sides. There is a parcel which is owned by the city directly to the southwest of the subject site that's recognized under the recreation open space designation. To the east of the subject site is our parcels recognized under the CC 35 designation, and then this purplish color to the south of the subject site represents RMU 35. Here is the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under the proposed urban mixed use 60 designation. Here is a slide showing the potential impacts of the proposed change. Currently, the subject site under the CMU 35 designation can be considered for 181 dwelling units, or just over 452,000 square feet of non-residential development. As proposed under the UMU 60 designation, the subject site can be considered for 311 dwelling units, or 734,748 square feet of residential and non-residential uses. As proposed, the proposed amendment would allow for additional density and intensity, and would also introduce the possibility of the RM35, RM50, and CI zoning districts on the subject site. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments, discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any lights in the room or any hands up on the WebEx. We will thank you for the presentation, Mr. Collins, and get on to our next item, 4C, TACPA 21-22, Future Land Use Map Amendment, 4510 South Manhattan Avenue, and the presenter is again Mr. Danny Collins.
This is Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is TACPA 21-22. It's for the property located at 4510 South Manhattan Avenue. The subject site is located in the South Tampa Planning District. It's within the Fair Oaks, Manhattan neighborhood, and it's shown here on our locational map. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. It's outlined in this black color. It's just southeast of the intersection of South Manhattan Avenue and West Fair Oaks Avenue. There are several non-residential uses that currently surround the subject site along South Manhattan Avenue. There's a church here directly to the west of the subject site. And then there are some churches. There's St. Patrick's South Church, which is to the southeast of the subject site, and then Impact Academy South, which is a school also located southeast of the subject site. There are residential single-family detached uses directly to the north of the subject site. Quick background of the request. This is a privately initiated amendment. It's small scale in size. The subject site's approximately 2.2 acres. The request is to change the future land use from the public, semi-public designation to the CMU 35 designation. And I do want to note, the site is recognized under the public, semi-public designation, but it is under private ownership. Here is the adopted future land use map. Again, the subject site is recognized under the public, semi-public designation. Portions of the subject site are within the coastal high hazard area, denoted by this line that intersects the subject site. The public, semi-public designation is to the south and east of the subject site. To the north are parcels recognized under the CMU 35 designation and also the residential 10 designation. And then to the west of the subject site on South Manhattan Avenue are parcels recognized under that CMU 35 future land use designation. Here is the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under the CMU 35 future land use designation. Here's a slide showing the potential impacts of the proposed change. Currently, the subject site under the public, semi-public designation. We cannot determine the maximum potential intensity and density since it's based on the surrounding development patterns. That's typically handled at the time, at the rezoning phase. As proposed under the CMU 35 designation, the site can be considered for 77 dwelling units or just over 191,000 square feet of residential or non-residential uses. So under that CMU 35 designation, the site can be considered for 35 dwelling units per acre or development up to a 2.0 FAR. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Maurino, yes.
Thank you. Danny, just to go back to that last slide with the FAR. So we approved, and it's going to City Council, removing the ability of CMU 35 in South Tampa to use FAR. So in this case, is the maximum residential development potential, is it just the 77 units, or was this already in the queue, so our motion would not apply to this project?
It is my understanding that there is a rezoning that's already been submitted on file. I would need to get in touch with city staff and how we would handle this, because the rezoning would be submitted before the adoption of that amendment. This amendment wouldn't be effective until after February, so we would have to. That's a good question. I think we would have to, maybe at the next PC hearing, have an answer for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Maurino. Is there any more questions or comments from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any in the room or hands up on the WebEx. I will go ahead and move on to the next item. Thank you, Mr. Collins, for the information. Next up, we have TACPA 21-23, Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment, Coastal High Hazard Area, and the presenter is Sean College.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Sean College, Planning Commission staff. I will share my PowerPoint. If Danny could turn his off, that'd be great. Commissioners, this is Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment 21-23, City of Tampa, titled the Coastal High Hazard Area. It is a text amendment. It is publicly initiated. It's initiated by Planning Commission staff. The state has updated the Coastal High Hazard Area for the Tampa Bay area. In doing so, we need to update the comprehensive plans to be consistent with that. We did find in reviewing this update that there was a policy in the comprehensive plan for Tampa that might be misinterpreted if read the wrong way. We thought it was appropriate to clarify this policy language to be consistent with state law and the process by which the state updates the coastal high hazard area. So on your screen is the previous text for this policy and the new proposed text. And it's just one policy update for this text amendment, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. College. Was there any questions? Or yes, Commissioner Lucas.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm just curious, my understanding is that the FEMA definition and this Florida state statute definition of the CHHA are different. So I wasn't clear if the text amendment is indicating that you're following the Florida state definition. Can you
Okay, so yes, the Florida state definition and the FEMA definitions, although they use the same terminology, they're completely different things. FEMA is doing it with regard to flood zones. This, the Department of Environmental at the state level, DEO and emergency management at the state level are define a coastal hazard area that's completely different, and it's just for storm surge from hurricanes.
And is that storm surge based on the slash model the one that will be followed according to this change?
Your mic.
I'm sorry, I lost your audio.
There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm just looking to just make sure I understand. Is the definition that is used based on the storm surge model, the slash model, the one that will be followed based on?
Yes, what we're dealing with here is only the coastal high hazard area that's in Florida statute regarding the DEO or Department of Emergency Management.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, I understand. It is confusing. I get that a lot.
Thank you, Mr. College. Is there any more discussion or questions from the commissioners on this item? Let me check the WebEx. Not seeing any hands up on the WebEx or any more lights in the room, so we will thank you for the information, Mr. College, and move on to our next item is TACPA 21-24 Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Coastal High Hazard Area Maps Update. Again, back to you, Mr. College.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Again, Sean College, Planning Commission staff. And I will share my screen. So this is the second text amendment also related to the state's update of the coastal high hazard area. And I'll advance my slide. Again, publicly initiated by the Planning Commission. The state updated a coastal high hazard area recently, and we need to update the comprehensive plan to be consistent with the state. There's really no discretion at the local level. The coastal high hazard area as an area is determined by the state modeling efforts. So the area has been updated by the state, and we need to bring into updated status the comprehensive plan's future land use map and public access areas maps, or map that is. On your screen are the two maps in the Tampa comprehensive plan that have the coastal high hazard area on them as they exist now in the comprehensive plan. Again, the future land use map, and on the right side, the public areas, public access map also has the coastal high hazard area on it. So these two maps are going to be deleted and replaced. And on your screen now are the replacement maps, which have the updated 2021 coastal high hazard area on them. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. College. Are there any comments or questions from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any in the room or any on the WebEx. And we will thank you for the information, Mr. College, and move right on to our next item is 4F, a briefing on the City of Tampa Land Development Code, LDC text amendments. The first of which will be LDC 27-162 and 27-156, footnote 2, 27-283.7, and 27-282.10, amend a total of 4 sections of the zoning code, and it will be presented by Danny Collins.
Dan, this is Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is item 4F1. It's to amend a total of 4 sections of the zoning code. This is a privately initiated amendment, and it's part of the July 2021 cycle of text amendments. I will turn this over to LaShawn Dock from the city, who could briefly go over the amendment.
Yes, thank you, Danny. This is LaShawn Dock. I'm with City Planning, and thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Commissioners. And I'll go ahead and present to you this privately initiated text amendment. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so I should see a PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So this request, as Danny has mentioned, it is a privately initiated text amendment. This is a part of the January cycle. The request is submitted by the applicants Steve Michelini and John Lum. And what I wanted to do is provide the overview of the request, because this request initially started, just to give you a brief background, the applicant had a list of maybe over 20 items or so that he intended to amend in the zoning code and update with his request. Through working with staff and through public meetings and with city council and with the general public, the request was reduced to the 9 items which are on this list. The items that have the strike through have since been removed from the request. So what is moving forward are the code sections that were mentioned in the beginning. On this chart is the row number 1, and then it's item 5, 6, and 7 on the chart identified on the screen. I believe language may have been sent over to you for 8 and 9, which was the East and West Tampa language, but that was withdrawn by the applicant based on the fact that East Tampa will be coming in for modifications shortly to their overlay standards, and then he had not had final approval through West Tampa, so those 2 items were removed from the overall request. So I'll just go over briefly with you those items which are moving forward. So the first is regarding the yards between residential buildings. This is under section 27162. So currently in the code, in order to determine the distance between the residential structures on site, it is required that you complete a calculation, which is in the zoning code. So what this request does is it sets that standard at 15 feet for that separation. And that way you're not doing the calculation. So it's an effort to just make it consistent across the board. And staff also took into consideration with this particular request the fact that building code standards are required also. So staff supported this request to move forward. The next item is under 27156. This is regarding the height of buildings. So currently in the code, for RM24 zoning and for OP1 zoning, the maximum building height is at 60 feet. But there's a footnote in the code, and that footnote states that for each foot of building height above 30 feet, you must increase your yards by additional foot. So what is proposed through this request is, instead of doing that step back, if you will, at the 30 feet, you do the step back at 35 feet. And this request was made to make it consistent with the other residential districts in the zoning code. For other residential districts in our use table within the city of Tampa, the maximum building height is 35 feet. So this 35 foot would establish that standard across the board. The next is regarding visitor parking. So currently in the code, 0.25 spaces are required in addition to your required parking, and that's for visitor parking. So what's being proposed is to eliminate that visitor parking requirement, but that is only for the 2-unit residential dwellings proposed. When they're proposed as a residential semi-detached where they share one wall, for that 2-unit development, that 0.25 spaces is not required with this proposal. We just run into situations where if it changes ownership, and then you have one parking space provided as a visitor space, then who gets that one space when it's left on the property? So staff supported this request also. The next request was regarding the multifamily townhouse style design standards. So currently in the townhouse development, your front door should face a street right of way. So this request proposes to allow your front entrances to face the courtyards. This does not mean that they can face an alley, but they can face a courtyard. So when you have a different style design with multifamily and with townhouses, you sometimes have that courtyard in the center, and your buildings are surrounding the courtyard and not a street frontage. So this would allow that without someone having to request a waiver of this standard. So with the request, that's all of the items moving forward. The next step would be the public hearing before this body next month on November 8th. So thank you so much for your time today, and I'm available if you have any questions, commissioners.
Thank you. All right. Are there any questions or discussion from the commissioners on this presentation, this briefing? Not seeing any in the room or any on the WebEx, so we will thank you for the information and move on to our next item, F2, LDC 27-147, 27-148, and 27-151, amend text amendment process. And the presenter again is Mr. Danny Collins.
This is Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is item 4F2. It's a text amendment to the LDC to amend the text amendment process. This is a publicly initiated amendment. It's part of the July 2021 cycle of text amendments. And again, I'll turn it over to LaShawn Duck with the City of Tampa for a brief presentation.
And good afternoon again, Commissioners. LaShawn Dock with City Planning. And I could share my screen. Let's get this up. Okay, so you should see my PowerPoint now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is item number 2, Commissioners. So I'm going to present to you today.
Full screen for us, please.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to stop for a second. Hold on. Okay, let's try it again.
There we go.
I apologize. Is that better? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to present to you item number 2, which is regarding text amendment cycles. This request, Commissioners, is a part of a publicly initiated text amendment. This is a part of the July 2021 amendment cycle. This request, just to give a brief background, Council had concerns regarding the inability to process text amendments out of cycle. Currently in the code, there are 2 cycles per year that text amendments can be processed in January and in July. So Council asked staff to come back with recommendations regarding language that could be modified in the code to allow for the amendments outside of the regular cycles. So in August, staff presented what I will review with you today, and Council gave direction to process this language. So first, just to review with you briefly, just the challenges with the current process. Currently, there is confusion. We have both the privately initiated and publicly initiated text amendments. What is proposed is to provide consistency and to clarify the process as it moves through the actual public hearings. So that way, all requests that come through are the publicly initiated request. What we're trying to do, as I mentioned, we're trying to create that consistency with the request and with the process. And we still would maintain a maximum of the 2 text amendment cycles, but we still would provide an opportunity to allow for mid-cycle amendments, and that's for time-sensitive, narrowly tailored, strategically focused items could still be processed. So what this request does is it will eliminate the provision which enables the privately initiated text amendments. That would be effective with the July 2022 cycle. This would allow for text amendments to be processed publicly. In a way that would work is the request could be made to City Council, and through City Council's direction to the code administrator or through the planning manager, it would be processed at that time. So we're looking at once we would receive the request, then we would come back to Council with some sort of report on the request, and then Council would decide if it would move forward. And we would begin processing at that time. This request also, the text amendment, would enable the code administrator to process out of cycle text amendments for those strategically aligned edits as needed. So what we did with this request is we've conducted public outreach. We held in August, once at Council's direction, we held a public information meeting that was on September 13th. We have it's scheduled for City Council workshop, and then we have, of course, our workshop we have today. This request would take effect with that July amendment cycle. So the final cycle for privately initiated amendments would be January. We just want to allow adequate time for the public to have noticed that this would be amended in the code. I'm just realizing that many decisions are made on the current code as far as land use decisions and investments. So our next steps would be our Planning Commission public hearing, again, before this body in November. So with that, that concludes my presentation. I'm available if you have any questions, commissioners.
Thank you, LaShawn. Are there any comments or questions from the commissioners? Any discussion of this item? I'm not seeing any lights in the room or any hands going up on the WebEx. So I'll take that as no, and thank you for the information, and we will move on.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll move on to our next item, which is item number 5, the Executive Director's Report.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. I provided you with my Executive Director's Report on Friday, as well as some additional materials for this evening's hearings. So hopefully you all received those. A couple of things that I wanted to note from the report. We have been continuing for our staff our series of diversity trainings. We do an hour once a quarter, lunch and learn. And this quarter, the topic was hearing from the Lighthouse for the Blind on how to adapt our materials and processes to folks who have vision limitations. So that was really great. We've been fortunate to be able to continue partnering with different advocacy organizations to understand how their members are impacted by our plans. We had a workshop with the Board of County Commissioners last Tuesday on the mobility section of the comprehensive plan, the update to that, which you all had a workshop on earlier in the month of September. Got some good feedback from them on that. We also brought forward the revised private property rights element that will be on your hearing this evening. So as you may recall, at your August meeting, you all took action on the private property rights element that we originally put together that was fairly limited in scope. The Board of County Commissioners at a workshop in August asked for some additional language, as was in a 1,000 Friends of Florida model, to be added. We took a look at that with county staff and modified that to the Hillsborough context, which is what you will be hearing tonight and what the BOCC seemed favorable to. They did not have a lot of additional feedback on that item. We're in the cycle of needing to update the 10-year water supply facilities work plans for each of the 4 local governments. There's a statutory requirement that within 18 months of SwiftMud updating their water supply plan, that each of the local governments' water supply facilities work plans get updated as well. So we're working through those. So we've been having some meetings with each of the jurisdictional staffs on that. And then lastly, we have a project we've been working on for the city of Tampa. They asked us to look at mixed use recommendations, what should be perhaps required in their comprehensive plan or land development code for their mixed use categories to assure that they're getting a mix of uses in those areas. We've done a look at a number of best practices and had a meeting with staff to begin to finalize those recommendations. I mentioned this because it came up at City Council on Thursday that they are anxious for this report. So we will be wrapping that up and bringing that forward to you all and to City Council. I think it's scheduled to come back to City Council in December. We have a number of meetings coming up. Your calendars are busy because of us. So we have a workshop next Monday from 11 to 1. This will be completely virtual. This is a deeper dive into the context classification component of the mobility section. So that's a new map that will be included in the mobility section. And we'll have the county staff who are working on the implementing components that go along with that as part of that workshop so that you all can understand kind of the complete context to that. Then on October 27th, we have our Planning and Design Awards from 4:30 to 7:30. It's a great celebration of all the great things that are happening here in our community, and we hope each of you can join us. Your tickets are on sale now, and I'm sure Commissioner Powell, as part of his report, might have more to say about that. But we've got some great award winners, so hope you can join us in celebrating that. Then on November 4th, we have a workshop with our consultant on the Commercial-Locational criteria study. This was the one that you all authorized signing the contract last month, or maybe that was August. Nevertheless, recently. And the consultant would like your all's input on how commercial uses are located in the unincorporated area, how the existing policies are working. So this will be an informal workshop, again, virtual, from 1 to 3 on November 4th. If you're not able to attend any of the virtual workshops, they are all going to be recorded. They're very informal in nature, so if you want to rewatch the recording and then provide input afterwards, the main thing is that we want to get your input. So please feel free to get us that however you're able to. And then lastly, our next meeting is November 8th. We will be having it up on the 18th floor. So that is different. We'll remind you of that probably multiple times between now and November 8th so that you don't end up in the wrong place and end up at the BOCC meeting. That concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
I had a question. How's that come in with the facilities on getting the room up there on the 18th floor set up for us?
Yeah, it's moving along. They do anticipate that with the start of the new year, we should be able to be back in the Planning Commission boardroom. Lionel met with them a couple of weeks ago, walked through. We will have to have, I believe it's 1 or 2 members sitting on the floor to accommodate spacing around the dais, because it is a little tight there. Myself and Tracy will sit in the audience, but we have tables that we can set up on the floor